Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. I've got my trusty dog Esmeralda here with me, and in today's video, we're going to talk about taking care of your animals during SHTF. I did a video previously on this, and the only thing I really hit up on it was having the food available for the dog. So I'm extending the parameters of said video to include water, medication, and just other things like that. Because in today's modern society, we see our pets as more of family than a pet. I care about the well-being of my dog just as much as the well-being of the family members that I prep for, the friends that are part of my prepping community. Um, Losing your pet is, you know, just as psychologically and emotionally damaging as losing a loved one. So it's important as a prepper to prepare for your pets because she's not buying her food, she's not stockpiling her water, so you got to do some things for them. Unless your animal is specifically trained to provide a skill or a service, like if it was a service dog, then you would need to prioritize this more than uh, I am, essentially, or generally preppers. Um, or if your dog is trained for security purposes, then you should probably prioritize it a little bit higher. Or if your animal helps out with the day-to-day tasks, like on a farm or something like that. And we got to keep the video short and sweet and to the point because I had to take away her toy because she was making a lot of noise. And now I'm getting an angry stare. Nope. No, not yet. But if your animal, provides a service for you, then I would prioritize it a little bit higher. Uh, Generally speaking, however long you have prepped and planned for an SHTF situation, that's how long you should prep and plan for your pet. If you're just getting started and you're going for the 72-hour mark, then you should have 72 hours of supplies for your pet. If you've hit the 1 month mark, you should have 1 month of preps for your pet. 1 year, and then if you hit the point of self-sustainability, self-reliance, then generally you should be at the same level for your pet as well. So let's get into it. She weighs 46, 47 pounds, and it fluctuates just like our weight fluctuates for us. That means she eats anywhere from 2 to 3 cups of food per day, and a 50-pound bag of dog food is roughly equivalent to 200 cups of food, meaning that bag of food should last anywhere from 65 days to 80 days. Now, that is, the base level calories. That's to maintain her current body weight, provide the calories she needs for her muscles without excessively feeding and her putting on fat, or her not eating enough and losing body weight. That being said, you can lower that amount if your dog's overweight. You can increase it if they are sick or they got injured. But generally, for a roughly 50-pound dog, 2 to 3 cups of food is the amount you should shoot for. So there are calculators out there. If you've got the little Chihuahuas or Yorkshire dogs, they obviously eat a lot less. And if you have a bigger dog like a Belgian Malinois, a Labrador, or different things like that, then you need to increase the food amount. So for whatever your pet is, you should plan accordingly for their side of food. We just recently got another puppy. I think she's approaching 3 months old now. I'd have to check in my phone to see when we got her. And so she's not in here, but take into consideration all of your pets. Don't just prep for one dog and one cat. If you've got, you know, a horse or um, rabbits or chickens, then, prep for all of that. But generally, we're just talking about dogs today. You can have your water bottle back in a minute. But outside of food, your standard dry kibble from the store will store for up to 2 years before it starts to go bad. I haven't really found any studies that talk about the taste of it. Just whatever your dog likes to eat, stockpile that. Don't stockpile dog food that your dog won't eat, even if it is a lower price. If push came to shove, your dog would probably eat something else, but you might as well store what they eat. Moving on from that, canned dog food has more water in it, so they can consume a little bit less food, and the shelf life on it is roughly the same as our canned foods. It can be up to 5 years as long as there's not denting. It's not freezing, thawing. It's kept in a cool, dry place. Uh, but dog food in a can or wet food is considerably more expensive than getting it in a dry kibble form. Your dog can also, its diet can be supplemented by some of the foods that you're stockpiling on your own or producing on your own. Um, she gets at least one meal a day where we crack an egg in there, put a little bit of beef or chicken broth, and uh, sometimes we do coconut oil, sometimes we do uh, sweet potato. It just kind of depends on what we have. And, if it came down to the last two eggs and I wanted to make breakfast, then she goes without the egg that day until we get more groceries. So you can supplement their food. You can also feed them, strictly a meat diet if you wanted to, so they could eat, you know, sirloin steak, pork chops, stuff like that, and it would generally be okay as long as they're receiving enough protein, carbs, and the different nutrients that your pets need. Outside of that, water for a 50-pound dog, they typically drink roughly a half a gallon of water a day. If you are um, feeding them in their diet wet food, then their water intake can be all the way down to a quarter of a gallon a day. Uh, and then that does fluctuate between summer, winter, spring, fall, that kind of thing. The hotter it is outside, the more they want water to stay hydrated. If it's colder and she's just sitting by the fire, generally being lazy couch potato, she's going to consume less water. But generally, you should prepare for half a gallon of water per day, and that should even it out. If you live somewhere where it's hotter more of the year, increase a little bit. If you live somewhere where you have a longer winter, you could probably decrease a little bit. And it does fluctuate based on the weight of your dog. Your Yorkshire is going to drink a lot less water than a Labrador, and she's right in the middle. So, maximum your dog could drink 3/4 of a gallon, and minimum your dog could drink like half of a 16-ounce water bottle. Or if you had like one of those, teacup dogs, they probably, you could fill up a measuring cup with 1 cup of water, and that'd probably be all the water they drank for the day. But just something to keep in mind when you are storing water. Don't just think about, your family of five. Also consider in your water storage plan your pets. Uh, they can drink water that's, muddy, and what we would want to run through some sort of filter, or uh, a cheesecloth or something like that. Uh, I really didn't do much research into uh, filtering, water for them, but I mean, I've seen dogs drink some very questionable water before, and I haven't seen anything go bad with it. But if your water is stored up and it came from your filtered, city municipal water, then it is perfectly fine for them. Next, moving on to medications. Uh, Generally, most of the shots you can give your dog, you can purchase from like Tractor Supply. I mean, we self-administered her polio shot, not polio. Uh, Had a brain fart there. Her parvo shot. It was just cheaper for us to do it, and even me having to buy a third one because I wasted half the medicine when she yelped. It was still cheaper than going to a vet. Um, you can purchase over-the-counter flea meds, flea collars, dewormers, stuff like that, and just do your own research on expiration dates on that. I'm not a vet. Um, Google will give you a quick uh, informational guide on how long some of those medicines last. But generally, you can also find that for most medicines. The only thing I will tell you is 99% of medicines that are consumed by humans, you cannot give to your pets. So just keep that in mind. Don't give your dog your ibuprofen if they're in pain, because it's not good for them. Outside of that, a general first aid kit that has gauze and ointments anytime they got injured, or having splints if they broke something, or they got attacked by another dog, or caught in something. Just having the same medical supplies you would apply to wounds that you receive. You can use your personal gauze on your pet. Outside of that, for bugging out with your animal, have room inside your vehicle for your pet and their food stuff. If you plan on walking out of your survival situation, if your pet is not used to following you unless they have a leash on, make sure you got a leash. If you want to be a little bit more discreet, make sure you can clean up their number twos. But generally, if you've trained your animal to follow you and they listen to your issued commands well, then a leash is extra weight that you won't have to carry. But she's mostly an inside dog, so a leash will probably be brought with her. So, a recap: food for your animal. Figure out how much your dog consumes, whether it's wet food or kibble, and plan accordingly. I would say as you put away your preps, um, likewise put away the same amount of time for your pet. Because, like I said, we consider them family. If you are stressing out over feeding them or taking out of, the food for you to keep them fed, it's burning through your supplies quicker, and you can have the bottle in a second. And it just gives you a nice peace of mind knowing that your animal is taken care of. Don't leave your pets if you had to bug out for a disaster, hoping someone else will rescue them or nothing will happen to your home while you're away. And if you can, bug in as long as possible, because, like I was saying, 50 pounds of dog food should last me roughly 80 days. but on top of the rest of your bug out kit, you don't want to have to carry 50 pounds of dog food. And with that, if you found this information useful, then like and subscribe to the channel. If you have a friend or family member that would benefit from the information from this video, then share the video with them. And lastly, say goodbye to Esmeralda, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.